without any further ado, I would like us to get into, let's dig in. And for us, we have Sue Walters, all the way from Australia. Sue received the first multi-channel implant in 1984. And you know, she's coming to us from her life story. You know, when you talk about cochlear implants, you may be talking about the gadgets, but you're talking about people we serve. You're talking about individuals who have been impacted by this. So Sue has been was introduced to this through her own life experience, and she's been leading a grassroots advocacy since 1985. And she's been involved in many revolutionary campaigns across Australia. And we are glad that, Sue, you are with us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And please just dig in and come to us with what you have. Welcome, Sue, everyone. Over to you, Sue.
Okay, got you. Sorry to shock you, but I became an accidental advocate as a result of having a cochlear implant. Our life brings these things to you, I guess, and everywhere I go now, I find opportunities to tell people about cochlear implants. It was such new technology in 1984. The hospital clinic would call and ask if I could speak to people who were thinking about having the implant. So it became a regular thing, and I enjoyed sharing that. The following year, there was a few more recipients, and we officially started our support group. Slide 3, please. So CICADA is a peer support and advisory group. We hold social gatherings mainly. We produce a newsletter. We have a website listing upcoming events and a comprehensive guide to hearing loss, which is a document put together by one of our members, Dr. Neville Lockhart. It brings together a lot of diverse information about hearing loss and devices, and that's sort of designed to inform the general public about a lot of the issues. Some of our members, CICADA members, do presentations to various community groups like Lions Club, Probus, and schools to raise awareness. We also contribute to letter writing campaigns to government and network with other hearing support groups. Slide 4, please. We try to get news items in the media whenever we can. But most important are our social gatherings, which are like meeting points for recipients, potential recipients, friends and families. And that's really important to us. Slide 5. Slide 5, we actually held our first Christmas party, kindly hosted by Professor Gibson and his wife, Alex. He's our surgeon. There were 16 recipients and their families and friends. And we were a really close-knit group due to our shared circumstances and really good support for each other. Even the hospital clinic staff used to come along to our gatherings as well, as I think they were really interested in seeing how we were managing with our implants. Slide 6. So in 1987, the implant was miniaturised and could be implanted into children. There was a lot of opposition from signing deaf community and other groups at that time. It wasn't an easy decision for parents who were considering the implant for their child. I received a call from one mother out of the blue, whose 4-year-old daughter had recently lost her hearing. And this lady was quite surprised that I managed to understand her questions over the phone, and it just made her feel reassured. And this young girl became our first child recipient in Sydney. So the children's implant program grew slowly, and habilitation programs were developed along with that for the children and parents, and strong friendships were formed between all the families. Slide 7. So CICADA have been blessed really to have the support of Bill Gibson and the Sydney Cochlear Implant Centre, and followed by Professor Kathy Berman. CICADA have worked alongside the clinic as it's grown, celebrating milestones such as this 1,000 recipients in 2004, where we had a big picnic day and fundraising event. Slide 8. So this is the first child recipient, Holly. We made headlines in the Sydney Morning Herald, and today she also advocates for the implant. She has 2 young children and she's a corporate lawyer. So it was a life-saving decision that, like, her mother made, a life-changing decision. Slide 9. So CICADA would sometimes arrange formal dinners and invite guest speakers and people who could extend our cause or who had helped the program in some way. In 1988, he's our health minister, Peter Anderson, and he made public funding available for 10 cochlear implants. That was the very first public funding. And we invited him to our dinner, and I presented him with a CICADA badge. In this, Mr. Mark Coulton is currently listening to us and helping with a roadmap to hearing health, which we hope will improve services for senior citizens, especially. Slide 10. So CICADA members attend and facilitate all sorts of things like deafness expos and other public events to try and build awareness of cochlear implants to the public. And we encourage the startup of regional groups. I travelled to Darwin to help start up the first group, and to Lismore. The little girl in the blue dress is the 1,000th recipient a few years later. So as a group, we've organised weekends away, even to the country. Like, we hired a little bus and we went and helped to support groups that were starting up in the country regions. And it was really nice just to travel with our committee and have a weekend away and just encourage all the other people in the country town to, you know, just sort of keep their support group going and establish those contacts. So this is one of our morning teas in the conference room at the Sydney Cochlear Implant Centre. And next slide. Sorry, just sent some notes here. We've held all sorts of events over the years, a percussion workshop to help people with musical appreciation. This is in 2017, as a celebration of International Cochlear Implant Day, we launched a biography of Professor Bill Gibson. That was our tribute to the Prof and for the wonderful program he created for us all. So, national advocacy. This year's and last year's events have not gone ahead due to COVID. We've gone a bit quiet. We haven't previously been very active on social media. But for International Cochlear Implant Day this year, I put out a last-minute invitation on Facebook for the gathering at the Sydney Opera House. And this was supposed to be sunrise and bring your own breakfast. It was a very low-key event. My Facebook post told me that we reached 1,700 people, but only 9 showed up. But still, it was nice to do something. And a couple of cameramen from the national news programs turned up. I think it was Cochlear that put them onto that. and they interviewed us and filmed us, and we did get a couple of spots on the nightly news. So I think over the years, COVID has, well, this last couple of years, COVID has taught us that we need perhaps to have a bit more of an online presence, but basically we're a sort of a heart-centred model rather than a business model, and it seems that our social gatherings are really popular. People get a lot from them. I'm just one little fish, and I'm grateful for all the people over the years who have helped with our cause and just supported all our endeavours. It's just great to be a part of that. And yeah, I can see the path ahead is never clear, but you just sort of have to make one step at a time and do your best. So thank you. And for all the work that you guys are doing to keep momentum and help others.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wow. So there is a message in the chat room, and I'll read this for you. Sue, you are a legend and an inspiration to us.